Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be diving into the disturbed mind of Seung-Hui and the events that led to the Virginia Tech shooting. Seung-Hui was born on January 18, 1984 in South Korea. He grew up in a small city near Seoul and moved to the United States with his family in 1992 at the age of 8 years old. The family settled in Centerville, Virginia, where they opened a dry cleaning business and sought a better life with more opportunities. But not everything was going according to plan. Like many immigrants, Cho and his family faced the challenges of adapting to a new culture and language. The so-called USA lifestyle was particularly hard on the young Cho. From a young age, he exhibited signs of emotional and social struggles, being diagnosed with selective mutism and severe social anxiety disorder, which affected his ability to communicate with others. Selective mutism is an anxiety disorder that makes it extremely difficult for individuals to speak in certain social situations, though they may be capable of speaking comfortably in other areas. For Cho, this made school particularly challenging, and he often avoided interacting with his peers and teachers altogether. His behavior in school was noted as unusual by his classmates, who described him as painfully shy, withdrawn, and non-communicative, particularly with women. Accounts from former classmates and acquaintances also described him as very awkward and uncomfortable, which affected his ability to talk or form connections, especially with girls, of course. Cho's demeanor sometimes led to bullying and social isolation, further exacerbating his mental health challenges. His family also reportedly struggled to understand the depth of his issues, as mental health awareness was less prominent in both South Korea and among immigrant families in the States at the time. By high school, his mental health issues persisted, leading to even more isolation. Everyone recognized that he was troubled, but despite all of these red flags, he managed to academically succeed enough to enter college at Virginia Tech. There he pursued a major in English. He showed a particular interest in creative writing, although his work often included dark, violent themes that greatly concerned his professors and even his peers. His stories were often graphic and unsettling, with language depicting violence, resentment, and revenge. One of his plays, titled Richard Macbeth, was submitted in a playwriting class and included, of course, violent and disturbing interactions between characters, which alarmed the students as well as the whole faculty. His writing sometimes appeared to explore inner rage and feelings of victimization, which might have also been reflective of his social and psychological struggles. Although the stories have not been widely published or studied, his creative work as a whole is often seen as a troubling window into his mental state. Cho was seen by Virginia Tech Counseling Center and various other mental health professionals due to his erratic behavior. However, due to privacy laws, not all of his professors or classmates were fully informed about his condition. In December 2005, after being deemed a threat to himself, he was temporarily detained and evaluated. The Virginia Special Justice found him mentally ill and in need of hospitalization, but released him after he agreed to undergo outpatient treatment. But this treatment was not consistently followed up, largely due to legal and systemic limitations. Remember when we talked about his behavior towards women? So, between 2005 and 2006, Cho was reported by 2 female students for alleged stalking behavior. Though no formal charges were pressed, Campus police were made aware of these incidents, which were documented but not escalated, which was a big mistake given that this was an early warning sign to what was to happen. This brings us to early 2007. He became paranoid and even more reclusive than before, ceasing contact with his dorm mates and also his family. Having very twisted thoughts about committing the biggest school shooting in the US, he decided to purchase numerous firearms and ammunition. On April of that same year, Cho recorded a series of videos, photos, and writings, calling it his manifesto, in which he outlined his grievances and rationalizations for the planned attack. He mailed these materials to NBC News on the morning of the shooting. This brings us to the fateful day of April 16, 2007. The time was 7:15 a.m. when the 23-year-old Cho Seung-Hui entered the dormitory and shot Emily Hilscher, a freshman, and Ryan Clark, a resident assistant who came to help. Initially, campus police believed this incident might be a domestic dispute. After the shootings, Cho left the scene and returned to his dorm room. For nearly 2 hours, the campus remained relatively unaware of the threat. At this time, Cho was in his room preparing for a more extensive attack. Clock was ticking 9:40 a.m. and he was ready. Cho entered Norris Hall, having chained and locked several main entrances to prevent escape and delay police intervention. Armed with 2 semi-automatic handguns, a 9mm Glock 19, 22 caliber, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition, he went from room to room, shooting students and the faculty. Within minutes of the attack, beginning at Norris Hall, police responded to the scene. However, they were delayed in entering due to the chained doors. Once the cops gained entry by breaking the chains, they moved through the building as Cho continued his attack. At around 9:50 a.m., hearing the advancing police, Cho Seung-Hui shot himself in room 211, ending the shooting spree. By then, 32 people had lost their lives and several more were injured. So in total, 32 students and faculty members were killed and 17 were injured in the massacre. My condolences and sympathy goes out to all the victims in this horrible, horrible crime.